started to work on the COVID issue. We started in December with our customers being involved in India, in China, and in Asia. So we knew a little bit about it, but not that much, not that close, and not that so much in details, since it has arrived in Italy. When Italy, started to, the virus started to spread in Italy, then suddenly the French people were like, oh, maybe we should worry about it. But we had these beers of optimism. It was very, very difficult to convince the people that they should get ready. We started our pro bono work and consultancy. So we offered 30 minutes to the people. That was interesting because I got to talk to people all around Europe, and I remember something very interesting. It was this English lady. She was in London, and she was like, "Yeah, well, I've heard. Yes, it looks like it's difficult in France. Well, I don't feel so much concern for myself. Huge company being located both in England and in Holland. But well, still maybe it's interesting to know what shall I think about." How can I prepare myself? What shall we anticipate? But still, she was very much in the position or in the posture we were in when it was a problem. When the problem started in Italy, and this denial, exactly the same. So I was shocked to see, oh gosh, she is really like 2 weeks behind. It was surprising. As a crisis management professional, we were very surprised to see how much there was a very little use of the return on experience from Asia, return on experience from Italy, return on experience from France. Everybody is reinventing the wheel, really, and not catching up on the experience from the other countries, which is totally amazing.
But we now have some dates that could potentially roll out the exiting step by step of the crisis. I know in France, President Macron has been, putting forward the 11th of May. Not everything, of course, is going to be unlocked, but what does it mean for companies, international and locals?
Yeah, I'll start with the bad news. The bad news is that the end of the lockdown doesn't mean the end of the crisis at all. So that's to start with. Yeah. We are going to slowly unlock the people because otherwise the economy is just going to collapse, and that's the only reason. The crisis, the health crisis, such as sanitary and crisis we have now, is going to be followed by an economical crisis. Is also now the danger is cyber. It's already there because of all this working from remote, working from home thing that has happened in like overnight. It has created many threats and weakness into the system, and this is going to appear, in a couple of months. So we don't know exactly when, but it's going to happen. So that's the first bad news. Now, how to communicate about the end of the lockdown, because that's where we are. It's a complicated thing because we need to talk to our employees, we need to talk to our customers, we need to talk to stakeholders, and we need to talk to the world in general. So I would advise that first, the worst would be that there was an email or some sort of small communication at the beginning of the lockdown, nothing in between, and now that we have a date, oh, hello, I'm communicating again. So the routine thing should have been in place from the CEO to everybody, from the manager to their team, with a routine of communication, making sure you know about your people. If it has not been done, now we need to prepare. So, well, the CEO has, the best would be that he make himself available to his employees, even if they are 300,000. I have a customer, they are operating in 80 countries. They never stop operating because their activities is vital to all of the countries. They are call centers. They employ more than 350,000 people. And on a weekly basis, the CEO making himself available on Teams or I don't know what, and people connect and he's talking to them. Of course, it's not a conversation, but at least, he shows his face and he, he's with them. You can also produce a video, but that has to be done on a regular basis. So there will be questions about going back to work. Some people will be afraid to go back. Some people will feel they have lost the link with their manager. They have lost the link with the business, with the work. So they will not be comfortable about it. Some people will ask questions about weird question. I mean, weird to us, like, what about my holidays? What about, I want a bonus. I want this, I want that. Very little and simple and pragmatic questions. Important that the CEO has worked with his team about what are the criteria of success. We are going through this crisis. We will have done a good job if, and then try to find out what are those criteria. What are those KPIs really? And because we have no clue where we are going. We came out of one world, we are entering a new one. It's never, no way, it's not going to be the same one. So it's very difficult for the CEO to project everyone to the next step because they have no clue. They have no clue about the business. They have no clue about their own customers because maybe their own customers are collapsing as well. So you don't have customers anymore. The whole thing is going to be changed, but at least they can focus on, we will tell ourselves that we are proud of ourselves if, and then be very, concrete about what it is, the success in this crisis management. And give that vision and also reassure people that everything will be done to protect them when they go back to work. Well, in this perspective of the end of the lockdown, it's important to be sharing the questions about the non-control zone of the CEO because today this non-control zone is very big compared to what it is usually. And it's okay to share the doubts. It's what would be not okay is if he doesn't take any decisions. Decisions have to be taken by the boss and have to be shared and have to be understood. But if you want people to understand your decision, then you need to share about how you came to those decisions. Mm-hmm. What is your thinking process? What are your doubts about things? And also, it's not only sharing that, but it's also listening to the way other people, the other people in your company, what do they think about it? Because the worst would be in the time of the crisis to have a leader that isolates himself from the rest of the team, and he believes he can take all decisions alone, and then he will do only mistakes.
So how can somebody who is convinced that has the idea that's going to save the company, how can he feed that back up to the CEO?
Well, the job of the CEO today in the communication should be reversed. Okay. It should be like less talking and a lot more listening, because not only by listening you will get interesting ideas, but also by listening and asking the people, it will keep them busy. So they will be happy to contribute because they want to contribute, and you need to give them something to do. And also this feeling of being listened to is probably the only way to reassure the people that they will feel that, okay, somebody is piloting, but I'm also taken into consideration. So I exist and so I'm listened to. So it also means that if I don't feel good about everything that is happening, or if I feel threatened somehow, or because for many people it's a very difficult situation. Since I'm listened to, I will get support, and then I already feel better, and I know where to ask my questions, where to get things across to the managing team. But even you need to map your stakeholder. Who are they? Because you will need them when the business starts again. So how do you make sure they don't hate you at the end of the crisis? It also means you're not going to run after people so to get paid just because you're in panic. You're not going to forget partners and subcontractors just because they are not your employees. So you don't share with them everything about security. You don't take care to them like you would take care to your own employees. So they feel put apart. And that's a very common thing that happens.
Okay.
Same with the partners, they should receive the same routine of information. And for the customer, the best would be not to urge them to buy something from you because, I mean, they are in the same situation, but just keep in touch on a smooth and subtle way. So to know where they do, how do they feel, how can you help, but it's also a very human thing that every maybe account manager will take care to their account, will to the people they know, a lot more on showing empathy than anything else. If you just communicate and you don't act, this means nothing. So if we talk about the actions and the communication of a company or on CEO during this crisis, there will be a judgment. The trust barometer from Edelman makes the trust barometer every year. And last year, 2019, one of the results of the statistics was showing that the public opinion or the trust the public opinion gives to the companies is 3 times more based on ethics than on competency. There will be a consequence on the reputation. I think this is key to understand.
Now, if there was one last piece of advice you would want to give to either a CEO or someone who is working for a CEO, like an employee, what would it be in that situation right now?
The first one is your job is to anticipate. So the job is not about dealing with the task. The job of the CEO is to be ahead, to think ahead. So you have to do your worst case scenarios. You have to think ahead. What could happen? What could get worse? And be on that level, not on the level of the task. So that's number one. And second, regarding the communication and the behavior, you have to be authentic. Everything that is fake, it's going to show. Mm-hmm. So don't try to be fake. Don't try to show whatever. Be authentic, be empathetic, take care to the people. The priority today is not the mission anymore, is your people, because there will be consequences in terms of talent retention, reputation, and so on. So your people comes first, and be authentic, be transparent, share your doubts if you have any, and take decisions. The worst would be not to take any decisions. So that will be the...
That's great. Thank you. Emmanuelle, I hope you have a wonderful time. You're going to be extremely busy within the next couple of weeks and months and years. So I'm wishing you a lot of success. And thank you for the gift of your time with us today.
Yeah, you're really, really welcome.